Welcome back to the Bridge to Mastery, this mini-series that we're doing that moves us from consistency to capability. We're moving from having intentions to intentionally living in the person that we've created. Hey, you've decided, you have shown that you're able to show up, and you've done so for over 100 days and now 103. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. Welcome back to our Bridge to Mastery. This is our mini series as we prepare ourselves, as we get ready for the future, which is before us and which is expansive, because we've proven that each day that we show up, we are building a better, stronger, more efficient, and a self-efficacious version of ourselves, efficacious version of ourselves. Hey, I'm so glad that you're here. This is day number 103. Let's go ahead and get started. Today we're talking about locus of control. How do we own our decisions? How do we own what we do, understanding that what we do has a big impact on where we end up? Let's go ahead. I'll see you on the walk. All right, so we are back, y'all. Man, these days are just ticking by so quickly. Hard to believe that we are already in day 3 of our mini-series. And just as a backdrop, let's go ahead and give a definition of self-efficacy. This is our working definition of self-efficacy. And so self-efficacy is the belief that your decisions and that your behavior can change the things around you. It is the belief that's based on evidence and not just theory. It is the belief based on data that you have gathered. And in this space, we are using our 100-day walk that we've done already to show that we have the ability to be consistent, that we have the ability to show up, that we have the ability to make decisions, and all of the benefits that we've had over the course of the last 100 days of that series are our evidence that we're using to show that we're efficacious, that we have the ability to alter, we have the ability to shape, we have the ability to make decisions that directly impact and affect what we do in our lives. All right, so that's our working definition. And so today what we want to do is we're going to spend some time talking about our locus of control. And this is very important because it will set the tone for much of what we do and what we say as we move through the rest of this series and as we move into other series. So locus of control it's a concept that describes where you place the responsibility. That is, do you place the responsibility outside of yourself, or do you place the responsibility inside yourself? Let me give you a couple of things that people say. They say that I couldn't do that because they wouldn't let me. I couldn't succeed because the committee didn't decide, or my boss didn't give, or my husband didn't do, or my wife wasn't this, or my children wasn't that, or I wasn't giving enough money. Whatever it is. So those phrases place the control outside of yourself. They say that what's going on with me is based on somebody else. It's based on some other circumstance. It's based on some other thing, but it's not based on me. Do you hear that? You hear that? But if we have an internal locus of control, it is my choice. It is my habit. It is my decision. It is my mindset that shapes all that I do. Now, we'll come and talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. There are things you're not going to be able to control, and we're not talking about those things. But we'll make a conversation or make a comment about that here in just a little while. But there are things that you are not going to control, but the things that you can control, right? So other phrases that people use, they said, that happened to me. I'm just reacting. It's about it's about it's not about my habits. It's not about my decisions. It's not about my will. It's not about me. It's about something beyond me. And so self-efficacy says that that's not the case. And we've proven that. Yeah? We've proven that we can make a decision. You did that. You decided that you were going to show up. You decided that you were going to learn to be more resilient. You decided that you were going to learn to be more resistant and more self-confident. And when you made that decision, each day that you showed up, it gave evidence that that was the case, right? So we have a session that we're going to be doing about the inner coach, and we'll talk more about the power that all of those decisions gives to the inner coach. And this is not because you can control everything, but because you believe that there's always something that you can control. Oh, that's a good point right there. So it's not that you believe that you can control everything, but you believe there's always something that you can control, even if that something is you. You hear that? So even if it's me, if I can't control anything around me, even if I can control myself, there is something that I can control. So locus of control. And so what we find is that the people that are able to have an internal locus of control, they do better. Why do they do better? Because they find ways to control the things they can. They go about controlling the things they can. See, I've got my limitless living. That's what limitless living is all about. It is not that I'm controlling everything, but the things that I can control, I'm doing every possible thing that I can do to make sure that those things are going the way I want them to go. I'm not relying on anybody else. I'm not waiting for anybody else to take me there. So we want to shift the question from can I to what can I control? Like, you can't control the weather. You can't control the stock market. You can't control your boss. You can't control your organization. You can't control people, right? That's a given. But you certainly can control how you respond. You can control how you save. You can control how you invest. You can control whether you take an umbrella. And if those things are if it is the case that you can control those things, then your job is to be aware of what the weather forecast is going to be. Your job is to be aware of things that can happen in the stock market, in your finances. Your job is to be aware of what's going on with your finances. Right? So if we're going to control the things we can, then that requires that we are taking responsibility for understanding and knowing what's going on in those things. Oh, yeah. That's a hard one. That's a hard one, because it puts the onus on us to, I'll give you a simple example. And I was reading, which book was this? I think it was The Power of, Atomic Habits, I think is what it was. Anyway, in the book, one of those, the author, no, Compound Effect, The Power of Compound Effect. The author was talking about the different decisions that we make. And so one guy comes home, and every day he is tired, and he sits on the couch, and he eats, and he watches TV. And the other one comes home, and he's tired, but he decides, okay, I'm gonna make one small change. I'm not gonna eat all the stuff I normally eat. One small change. I'm not going to just sit in front of the TV. One small change. And over time, those small changes add up. And so for us, there are times when we're gonna see something. We're gonna be in a situation to make a choice, to make a decision, and our decision in that moment is going to be what sets the tone for what we do going forward. So each decision that we make, when we talk about balanced bites, the foods that we eat, every bite counts. The moves that we make, every move counts. Every time you show up, every time you walked, every time you are here, every time you're listening, every time you get into the challenges. Each of those is your decision that I'm going to take charge of my life. I'm going to take charge of what's going on around me. I'm not just letting this happen around me. So things that you can't control, that's fine. Don't try to control them. But things that you can, it requires that you understand what they are, how they work, and that you put in place the things that are required to get them moving in your direction. You got that? Right? So you can't control what you can't control, but that's okay. And so why does an external locus of control often becomes the thing that we gravitate to? It's because it's comfortable. That's what we're used to. It is the place that we often land, and is the place that we've landed for much of our life. That we sometimes feel self-pity. We sometimes feel as though the world is not working in our favor. And so it's easy and natural and comfortable to put the control out there rather than here. Because if it's out there, I don't have to do anything. But if it's in here, it takes work. If it's out there, then it's about them. If it's in here, it's about me. If it's out there, there is this almost luck that has to happen for me to be successful. If it's in here, it's not about luck. It's about me taking charge and me doing all the things that I need to do to move my life and move into that direction, right? So blaming other people, blaming systems, blaming time, blaming the economy, blaming genetics, blaming circumstances. Yeah, I can't lose weight because my wife cooks. She doesn't cook healthy stuff. My blood sugars aren't under control because the stuff that my kids bring in the house. I can't have good blood sugars because I'm taking care of my grandkids and they always want candy and cookies and cake. You see that? Now, there's a whole lot of conversations that we can have about those things. I don't have enough money because my husband and my wife, who takes care of the finances, they haven't been saving. And so all of those things put the locus of control outside of us, and it's comfortable. It's easy to be in that space. And if we keep telling ourselves that, then we get to just hang back. We get to sit back and we get to watch the world go by. And I want to continue to push to you that you no longer can allow life to just happen. All right, we're going to come to that again and again. You can't let life happen because limitless living says that you are not allowing anything inside of you or outside of you to hinder you. What is the operative word there? You, right? I am not allowing anything from inside. I'm not allowing anything from outside to prevent me from doing what I need to do to be healthy and to be successful in whatever area I find myself. So the locus of control is in here. It's not out there. It's right here. It's moving. It's walking with you right now. As you're moving, it's going with you. And so guess what? It's always with you, that locus of control. The thing that, here's a good one. The thing that is the key to your success is staring at you right in the mirror. I want you to get that. What makes you successful is the person, those eyes that are looking right back at you, that's what makes you successful. And so owning that, taking that, and saying, yeah, this is about me, it's not about them, gives you the power. Your beliefs start to erode quietly when the locus of control is outside of yourself. Because it's kind of like that hamster that's in the mouse that's in the pen. After a while, there's no control, so I don't have to do anything. They did experiments where they had mice in cages, and they would electrify the floor of the cage. And so the mouse would run around and try to get away from the the shock. And so they did one part of the cage, the mouse would move to the other part. They did another part, the mouse would move to the other part. And then they electrified the entire thing. And so at some point, the mouse realized it didn't matter. It didn't matter where it went. It was still going to be affected by the electricity. So guess what? It just stayed. And so we talk about the stress response, which is fight or flight. But the one that we often forget is the freeze part. We fight, we flight, or we freeze. And sometimes when we feel like we have no control, when the locus of control is outside of us, we feel, well, what the heck? I can't control it anyway. So we stop moving, we stop working, we stop doing, we stop growing, we stop trying. And that is a place that is very dangerous, because you look up and it's been 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, sometimes 40 years. And the thing that you said that you were going to do 40 years ago has never happened. And you know what that brings? That brings depression. That brings despondency. It brings anxiety, particularly for people who are now looking at retiring. I say, wait a minute, we've not been saving. My health is now terrible. My health is bad. I've got all these things that are happening to me. What do I do now? And we want to make sure that we understand that all of that is under our control. Life is going to happen. I guess let me throw that in there, right? So life is going to happen. Some of you are out there and you've been vegetarian all your life. You've been vegan all your life. You've been exercising all your life. And you still have some stuff that went on. And so sometimes the tendency is to say, well, I did all of that and I still got all these problems, so I guess what the heck? No, there's still stuff you can control. Even now, in the middle of all the challenges that you have with your health, with your finances, with your relationships, you still have control. And as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself, right? So we all, at times, will give the control to other people. And you want to not do that. You want to make sure that you understand that it's in your hands. But it is very comfortable. If you flip the script, if you're able to take your control, you say, I may not control that, but I can control this other stuff, you will find that you begin moving in a direction that you never anticipated. You begin having successes in areas that you didn't understand. You begin seeing movement in ways that seem almost miraculous, but it's not miraculous. It's the fact that you just took over. You just now said, no, we're not going out like that. It's not going to be like that for me. I'm in charge of this, and let's get moving. Let's do it. I'm doing it. I'm taking control of that. This is my life. I may not control everything, but I can control something. I can control me. I can control my behavior. I can control how I respond. And this is a good one. So one of the conversations I have often is with people who say, well, I can't control my situation. Well, we talk about stress, right? It's usually surrounding stress and blood sugars. Because, stress causes elevated sugar. And so people, oh, it's the stress, it's my job, it's my relationship, it's my family, it's my whatever it may be. And those are valid reasons why people can be stressed. And there's times you can't get out of it. Like, you can't get out of your health situation right now, right? Whatever it is, it will improve, but you can't magically make it go away. And so naturally the body's going to be stressed. But you can control how you respond to that stress. And that's my point to you and my point to them often, that if we're going to be successful in any area, in all areas, in any of our health domains, the first part of us being successful is to understand that we can control certain things. And so even in the middle of those stressful times, what we've got to have in place, and this is a structure, we've got to have in place something, some way, somehow that is routine enough that brings us back to center. Got these people moving by. Right, that brings us back to center. So I can't control, and I can't control everything, but I'm going to control the thing I can. And often the person we can control is ourselves. We can control how we respond. We can control how we allow anxiety and stress and depression to get to us or not to get to us. And so I want you to make sure that that is the space that you find yourself in, that you are taking control of you, which means that you've got to have in place those things that are necessary to manage stress. Notice once again, it comes back to me. It comes back to me because those are things that I can control. I can be in that space and I can work to put those things in place. Rhythm, alignment, structure. Structure is paramount. It is important. So you don't have to control everything, just control some things. You can't control the weather, the economy. You can't control your diagnosis. You can't control other people, but you control your response. You can control your plan. You can control your goal. SMART, S-M-A-R-T, smarter, S-M-A-R-T-E-R, right? You can control that. You can control your language. You can control your effort. You can control whether you walk down to the mailbox and count that as your exercise. I had someone just this past week, we were talking, and one of the comments was that I can't exercise, or I can't run, I can't jog. I said, well, do you watch TV? They said, yeah. I said, well, can you get up around the TV and just maybe walk around the TV? Like, yeah. Walk around the living room? Yeah. Why don't you do it? Well, I'm going to. I've been thinking about it. Well, how come? How come you're still thinking? Why haven't you done it? Right? So there are reasons why people can't do things, right? So they're in pain. They've got bad backs, bad hips, bad knees, whatever it is. But you can do something. You can lift an arm. You can wiggle a finger. Remember, what you can control, you control. It may be in your mind a little thing and it won't make a difference, but guess what? It does make a difference. Compound effect. Little by little, each time. Let me see, can I walk around this way? There's a pond right here. Let me see, I think I can go, well, I may not be able to go all around, but why don't we do this? Let's walk around it a little bit. Yeah, so this is right at the beginning of my complex. I think we've seen the one in the back. And this one, I don't think, I guess they do fish in here as well. Right? So not a lot of fish, but, you know. So your power doesn't lie out there. Your power lies in here. And so often we want the power and the influence over other people. We want to be the boss. We want to be the supervisor. We want to be the whatever it is that we want to be. But I'm challenging you to use that power right on yourself. And what do I need to do to set myself up for success? Okay? Bring that locus of control into you. So, as we continue, I want you to be thinking of something, right, during this walk. So I want you to consider, ask yourself, what one decision can you make today that moves you forward? What one decision can you make right now that you've been avoiding, that you've been ignoring, that really is the crux of why you may be in a situation where you find yourself? And in that situation, what one decision can you make? Now, this is a hard one. And I say it's a hard one because I'm actually thinking of something here right now, even as I'm talking to you, and it just came to my mind. Yeah. This is a tough one. Because sometimes we've got to face things that we don't want to face, and we have to realize sometimes that the position that we're in, if it is true, right? And let me set it up for you. If it is true that I have the ability to alter and to change my course and the course of things around me, then if I'm in this situation, I have to admit to myself right now, as I'm talking to you, that I'm in this situation because I did not accept the locus of control. I didn't put it in me. I didn't pull it into me, but I put it out there and allowed it to be somebody else's issue. Wow. That's a hard one for me right now, right? And so you may find that there's some things that you're going to have to face. And that doesn't mean that it can't change, but it means that you now have to do what you have to do. Like, once again, you can't control other people, but you control yourself. You control your behavior, you control the things you do. Say, I'm not going to do that because they won't do this. Or I'm like this because whatever it is, yeah. It's not about them, it's about you. It's not about them, it's about me. Whoa, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this one. Okay, so what one decision can you make right now that's going to change the course of one of those situations? And say out loud, here it is. I wrote this down because it's very important. I own my outcomes. I want you to say that. I own my outcomes. I own my actions. I am responsible for my momentum. I own my outcomes. I own my actions. I am responsible for my momentum. I own my actions. I'm responsible for my outcomes. Wow, I'm responsible for my momentum. You know, it's funny, as I sometimes put these together, there's a thought that goes through my mind. But as I'm talking and as I'm going through this with you, I'm actually going through this with you in my thoughts. And you guys have seen me make connections. And that one right there, that one just hit me like a brick. Take a moment for that to kind of sink in. I don't even want to say a brick, like a load of bricks. Whew. Okay. Take a break. Maybe you need to take a break as well and process some of these. Process that one. I own my outcomes. I own what happens. I'm responsible for my momentum. Whew. Help me, please. What one area have you been giving power away to somebody else? What one area in your life have you been saying it's about them, but it's really about you? What one area, what one thing do you actually control that you've been letting other people control? How can you move differently today? Right? How could you do something different? How can you do something that is not what you've been doing? How can you take control of that situation right now? So how do we develop internal locus of control? Well, we talked about some of the saboteurs yesterday, some of the things that steal our self-confidence and take away the locus of control. Well, one of the things that you can do is you can track your actions, not just the outcomes. Well, you did something and it was successful, great. But what did you do? What did you do to help it to be successful? Those steps that you did, those are examples. They are structures. They are your algorithm for future success. Don't just look at what you did, the success that you had, but look at what you did to get there, right? So track them. Don't just track the outcomes. When there's something that doesn't go well, we talked about that yesterday, right? So we don't succeed and we let that lesson get lost. But you're gonna have to look to see what you did, because there are some things in there that you probably did well. Yeah. I went camping. I think I mentioned that recently, and it was the first camp that I was in control of. I've been to camps before, and usually I'm not the director of the camp. I am one of the assistants of the camp. But it was the first one that I was the camp director for. And lots of things went well. We had a great time. We actually had to break camp early because we had tornado and storm warnings coming up. But I've been sitting down this week. Well, not this week, but but you get the idea. I've been sitting down and going through that process. I've been documenting and writing and everything that I remember. What did I do? How did I do that? How did I organize this? What do I need to improve on? Because the way I handled that camp was not just about handling the camp. The way I handled that camp was about handling so many things in my life, right? And we can extrapolate from a particular situation and we can use that to other places. So make sure that you're tracking not just your successes, not just the outcome, but you're also tracking the actions. You want to use empowering language. Empowering and empowerment languages. Say, I choose instead of I had to. Man, I had to go to that place because my boss made me. No, I chose to go there because it helped me get better at my job. I had to go do such and such. I had to wake up at 7 o'clock so I can go exercise. No, I chose to wake up at 7 so that I can go exercise, so that I can improve my health. Notice the change in verbiage. Notice the change, right? I'm working on blank, blank, blank instead of I can't do such and such. Oh yeah. Well, you know, I can't run a camp. I can't be blah, blah, blah. I can't that. Well, no, I'm working on putting this camp together. And I'll tell you, going back to the camp story, there were times when I was tempted to cancel because we had several people drop out, several people cancel for different reasons, several people said they weren't coming. And then in the last days of the camp, so we were ready to go camp, got all this stuff ready, and I had people drop out because weather was coming through, because the weather was coming through. And I'm like, you know what? It might be better to just not do this. But you know what that was? You know what that thought was? That was giving control outside of myself. I can't control the weather, but I can control whether we go. I can control whether we leave early. Right? And so I decided that no, we were going to do this. And I talked to our program, our actually club director, and he said, well, how many kids are your minimum? Like, how many kids do have to come before you say, well, we're still going to go? And I told him, I said, we got 2 people coming. I mean, I should have told him 1, but we were going. Right? We were going 1 kid if that's all we took. We ended up not just taking one, but, but you get the idea. Um, and so it was an amazing experience for the kids who did go. And an amazing experience for the team that we had. We had some of our older kids come out to help out. We had an amazing male and female camp director, assistant directors that were there. And people are asking now, hey, when are we going? How can we go? Man, can you help us? Hey, let's do it. So not just the outcome, but the actions, and then change the verbiage that you use. I am working on. I am working on, instead of I can't. And then create proof, right? And that's what I just told you. Just like the 100 days. Oh yeah. Now I want you to get this. I want you to get this. This 100 days that you've done, you can write that down as documentation and use that forever. I'm saying you can use that forever. It is an indication that you have what it takes to do what you need to do. Whenever there's doubt, whenever there's whatever in your mind, you point to that. 100 days. So you want to use the proof that you have. Don't just let that go this way. It wasn't just something that happened. It was something that you did, right? In your journal, you have 100 entries that prove. You have on your calendar 100 crosses, X check marks. You have 100 challenges that you've done over the 100 days, and now 103 days. But use that as proof, right? Just like these, you have undeniable evidence that you shape your habits. Because you have to make that decision. I didn't come to your house and get you up. You had to make that choice. And that proves that you can chart your destiny, so you can make changes in your life. Man. Self-efficacy, amazing. So what do we do? What do we do going forward? How do we apply that? Go ahead and grab your journal, because you know what we got to do, right? Go ahead and grab that journal, and let's get to it. So remember what our working definition for self-efficacy is. It is that we have the ability to influence our outcomes. We have the ability to influence the things that happen to us and what happens in our lives. Yeah? So, it's not about doing everything and controlling everything. It's about controlling some things. So here's your very first part of the challenge. I want you to sit down and I want you to think back over some of the times where things have not gone the way you wanted them to go. Right? Think about some of the times. I mean, pick 1, 2, 3 of them. And then I want you to wonder, I want you to think, in that situation, what was under my control? Now, I'm not telling you to find something that would have made the situation go better. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to find what was under your control in that situation. All right, write that down. And then I want you to think, and right next to each one of those, what was my thought process during that situation? When things didn't go the way I thought they were going to go, when things didn't work out like for me, when I didn't get what I wanted, but these are the things I could have controlled. What was my thought process in that situation regarding the thing that I could control? Yep. And now I want you to say this. I want you to take that thought that you had. What could I have controlled? And I want you to create like an I can statement. An I can statement. I can control blank. I can control black. I can control whatever it is. I want you to write that down. Because what you're doing right now is you're creating a list of I cans. Not they can, not she could, not out there can, but I can, because it's in here. I can control my attitude. I can control my food. I can control my walking. I can control my staying up late. I can control my exercise. I can control watching a video. I can control doing the challenge. I want you to create I can statements. And so going forward, right, so that's your challenge for today. But going forward in your journal, I want you to take a section of that journal, maybe all the way in the back, or maybe you do a different journal and you're going to say, this is my I can journal. You got it? This is my I can journal. So whenever you're in a situation, whether it works out the way you thought it was going to work out, or it doesn't work out that way, you're going to write in that journal the things that you can control. You're going to be making a list. I can do this. I can do that. And that is going to be something that we use when we talk about our coach. Right? We'll talk about our coach in one of our other sessions. So self-efficacy isn't about doing everything, right? It's about believing you can do something that moves you in the right direction. That's how we walk. That's how we move with power. That's how we walk with integrity. That's how we walk with freedom. Tomorrow, we're going to talk again about what other things we can do, how self-efficacy is so crucial in what we do, because we are on the bridge to mastery. We're moving from consistency to capability, and we're moving beyond our wildest imaginations. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow on day number 104. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. Remember, Limitless Living says we're not allowing anything to prevent us from doing what we need to do. Nothing from outside of us and nothing from inside of us. We're moving. We're presenting our best self, our best health, and our best plans for our life. We'll see you on the walk.
Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. And as we approach the end of our 100-day walk to consistency and health, I want to pause and invite you to look ahead. Because what we've built together is just the beginning of an even more powerful journey. Over the past 100 days, you've developed a habit. You've developed resistance, resilience. You've developed strength, and things that form the cornerstone of your success. Now, as we close this chapter, I'm excited to share that our next series is on the horizon that's going to build on everything that you've learned so far. In the upcoming series, we want to dive deeper into advanced strategies that harness your newly cultivated strengths, refine your mindset, and elevate your strategic thinking. Imagine transforming daily consistency into an unstoppable force that propels you to tackle even greater challenges with confidence. My vision for the next phase is simple: to empower you not only to sustain your current success, but to channel it into innovative strategies that drive you past these impacts that you've had to more lasting, more fulfilling impacts. We've explored how to leverage your inner strength and channel it into areas of leadership, creativity, and advanced personal growth. And we're going to go further. The habits you form are the foundation on which you can build a life of limitless potential. Every lesson, every win, every setback during the past 100 days has prepared you for what's next. Think of today as a bridge where the consistency and the discipline that you've mastered become a stepping stone towards a future when strategy meets mindset. In the next series, it's designed to help you integrate these principles to every aspect of your life, making your progress both sustainable and exponential. I invite you to stay tuned and actively participate as we embark on this new chapter. Reflect on your journey so far and consider the way that you can take these lessons to the next level. Let's step into the future together. Thank you for being part of this transformative journey. Your growth, resilience, and commitment are what this community needs. Get ready to embrace the next series, where your strengths, strategy, and mindset will propel you to even greater heights. Stay tuned, and I'll see you as we begin this exciting new chapter together.